Alright, welcome back. This is Dog. We are currently at Russia here in the Fisher Online. Here in the Russia map, opens up from 8, level 8 on. And I decided to start from camp. Just wanted to give you clear directions on how to get to this spot. You probably already know, if you've been to this location, been to Russia, if you've watched other people playing this game, or if you've talked to people, you probably know that this corner here, which is right near the swamp, but it's right here at the corner, you'll see a tree in the ground. Will be kind of the landmark you're looking for, but it's one of my favorite places to fish, especially with feeders. And just in case you're just getting to Russia or haven't quite gotten there yet, I thought I'd just go ahead and do a little bit of a longer form video here. Which means I'm not gonna, it's gonna be a little bit more chill. I'm not gonna be quite as instructive or sharing specific things the whole time we're doing this video. I just want to sort of highlight this spot, and we will talk a little bit about the different fish that I go for over here. We're gonna start out, try to get a sterlet, and as we get into nighttime, we'll probably transition, try to catch a burbot or two, and then I'll also show you, based on what quest you have, some of the other fish and little locations around this little spot that you can go after. So, I typically try to keep these videos shorter, and I try to focus in on certain information. But unless I wanted to make several different videos about this one spot, it just didn't feel like that was the way to go this time. So I think we're gonna do it this way. You see the tree that's hanging over the water over there? And that'll be your sign that you need to start looking to the left. It's easy to miss this little sandbar, but this is kind of where you want to be. By the way, it's worth mentioning, you can also run to this spot. You don't actually have to come via boat. If you're going to be fishing here for the fish that I'm fishing for, with similar gear though, you're going to want the boat here. But yeah, you can just take off straight to this location. I think I've mentioned this before, but if when you first get to this map, if you don't have upgraded gear yet, or fully upgraded gear, it's worth considering fishing over there in the swamp area that's sort of back behind us. All right, let's switch some of this stuff over. I was fishing for carp. It looks like I was fishing for bream. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do instead of carp hooks, let's use regular hooks this time, just to make it interesting here. We're going to do a size 3 on our first one with mollusc pieces. And basically you're casting in this deep hole. So one thing I like doing is I sort of like getting as far left as possible and then aiming to the right. Because you want the fish, if you catch a big sterlet, you want it to go right from here. You want it to go southeast. If it goes northwest, you quickly get to the edge of the map, and you have a really high chance of losing the fish at that point. So just take my word for it. You want it to go right, not to the left. All right, so we did a size 3 hook on that one. Let's do a size 2 hook. This is something I go back and forth on. I'm get slightly larger sterlet maybe on a 3, but then the bite rate is a little better on a 2, and you still can get, a variance of size on both size hooks. So we're gonna do this. Now you'll notice that my income quest right now is for silver bream. And so silver bream are one of the best quests you can pick up on this map, in my opinion, because they're so easy, so quick to finish the quest. So we're going to put a 0 hook on there with cheese. If you want to catch a little bigger silver bream, sure, you might use 1s. But we're literally just wanting to use this 3rd line to do some quests while we're trying to catch the big fish on the first 2 lines. But you could also put that cheese over here in the swamp part of the map and catch silver bream over here. In fact, if I have quests for crucians or even roach or other stuff like that, I'm going to be fishing over here in the swamp area and using dough or bread or whatever is appropriate. And a lot of times silver bream will come in over there too. But the bite rate over here on cheese with 0 hooks is just phenomenal. You're going to catch these little guys. They're perfect for completing a quest. So we're going to get 30 silver for catching 4 of these really tiny little silver bream. Totally worth it. And in case I don't mention it, so like one of the quests that we picked up when we first got here was this supply quest for catching regular bream, but you get fish pieces. That's almost never worth doing unless it's something you're just naturally going to be doing anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel that out. But I will say if you use peas in this spot with size, let's say 1 hooks, you'll have a really nice bite rate. Oh, I cast that way too far. You don't have to cast into the deep hole with the silver bream. I mean, you can. You'll still catch them out there, but you don't have to do that. But with peas and maybe a size 1 hook, you'll have a really nice catch rate on smaller regular brim. I keep saying bream. I should say brim. And so if you have a quest for regular brim that's actually worth doing, just put peas on there. Now you'll catch larger brim on molluscs sometimes, as well as there's other baits obviously that you can get brim on. And in the last video, and it works here as well, I talked about how brim seem to really like the caramel boilies, the tiger nut boilies, even those styrofoam, orange or yellow styrofoam balls. So there's lots of things you can use. Crawfish tails will catch brim, as well as tench and stuff. But anyway, let's hope that we can finish this. I'm going to move this. I didn't like how far I threw it. You'll still catch them in the hole, but I feel like that the bite rate is best if you just go maybe 10, 15 feet right in front of you here. Just a nice, easy cast. We'll see how deep that ends up being. That's less than 2 meters deep, so that's kind of what we're going for. And you see that so far we haven't gotten any bites on the mollusks, and it will just, it'll vary. You'll get them though. I mean, you will definitely get the sterlet if you're patient. But what I've been doing, even though you can still catch them at night, I have been enjoying kind of just mixing it up, and I'll go for burbot at night. So we'll do that. We'll transition maybe around 20 or 2200, something like that, and see if we can show you a couple burbot. But I'm hoping to finish the silver brim quest because I also want to show you a couple other things that I often will do with this third line. So all right, so we just need 1 more of these guys. Just hit the middle mouse button or the letter T, and you'll cast it right back to the same location that you had it before. Seeing someone catching a large chub here in the chat reminds me that another thing, and I don't do this very often, but it is another way to grind both XP and silver here. There are several spots, I think over here around the 3-meter hole, but you can even do it here, like kind of cast right out in that area. Grasshoppers will consistently catch chub and eyed, even occasionally asp, I believe, in this spot. Again, all of my recommendations tend to be feeder recommendations, but that's what I find myself spending the most time doing. as I'm working towards the next map unlock, which I'm currently 13 3/4, I believe at 15 if I'm not mistaken. I think the next map though is a pretty cool fly fishing map from what I've seen. So one of the things we're saving for right now is our first fly fishing setup, as well as the next level feeder setup. We're going to get our feeders squared away before I start buying like spinning setups or float setups. I do want to do that eventually, but it's a pretty big grind. So initially we'll just stick with feeders because that's what I like doing the most. I think I'm going to work on just kind of replacing these. It's a little odd to me that we've gone this far without a bite. So, yeah, and our goal here as far as the best XP and money is to try to land the 5 kilo sterlet. And if it's going to be a 5 kilo sterlet, we'll have to go out in the boat and try to catch it. We'll have to sort of wear it out. But the sterlet are worth waiting for. One of the most fun fish to catch, and very good silver, which I hope I can show you here. Yeah, folks are talking about how you can also fish for sterlet here in the 5-meter hole that's at camp. And I need to spend more time testing that. The couple times I've spent a little bit of time there, I've not had as much luck as I have in this spot, but I've heard it from enough people that it must actually be possible there. Really pretty map. I really enjoy the look of this place. This is, I think, overall my favorite map so far. And a lot of it is because of this spot. Well, in case we don't actually get to it, I'll just tell you that I will often throw bread or dough just sort of straight ahead here, maybe about a third of a cast or a half cast. And it's a good spot to catch crucian, regular and golden crucian, as well as all of the other typical fish that fishing here is kind of like some fishing in some of the earlier maps, this swamp area. And so if you have a quest to do that, or if you just, maybe you only have 2 of the bigger feeders at this point, it's a good place to do some of the fishing you're more familiar with. All right, so this is probably more likely going to be a bream. It's a very small fish compared to this setup, so unless it's a tiny sterlet, I would say it's more likely to be a bream. Oh, that's a perch. Look at that. I just don't remember that I've caught perch on mollusk before. Maybe I have, but that's actually a decent perch. 1 kilo, 11 gram. Give it a little bit more time. I'd love to be able to show you a sterlet here. If you're patient here, you'll get a few sterlet during if you stay here a full day. I mean, they'll come and they really are the silver you get, the experience you get. They're worth waiting for, but that's kind of why I like having that third line set up, because unless you've got Netflix pulled up or you're kind of doing something else, it can be a little mind numbing if all you're doing is waiting on the sterlet to bite. Okay, so guess what? We finished that quest. Let's see if there's anything else that's worth... Okay, we don't have anything else we can activate at the moment. There's more silver brim quests, though. I mean, these are just so good. I love taking these if they're experience or income, or even like supply for certain things. The silver brim you can just do so quickly. All right, so this is a good opportunity to show you one of the other things I do in this spot. So if you put the fish guts on, again, a size 0 hook, and we're going to have to cancel this. That was weird. It does that sometimes. All right, there we go. And basically from this spot, you can throw it anywhere right in front of you, You just don't want to cast it far. You just want to do a little light toss here. And what we're going for right now is bait. We, in this spot, can catch molluscs pieces, which is what we're using to catch the sterlet. So it's nice to have your third rod doing this just to kind of keep up with the bait. The other thing you can catch here, though, and you'll catch a good bit of, is leech. The leeches, which leech are good for catching the burbot / catfish at night here. So both of the baits that you'll get off of fish pieces, both the baits you'll get off of fish guts in this spot on a 0 hook, you then can turn around and use in this spot very effectively. And again, that should be a pretty fast bite rate. If you don't get one, then just recast it out. I find that a lot in this game. I find myself doing that. It's, you know, it feels like it helps to me to recast things occasionally. If you go a little while without a bite, it just seems like maybe resetting will help. But and we're going to go ahead and take this down. And with the bite rate being a little lower, I don't think it's worth having a size 3 hook out there. If they're really flying in, which sometimes they do fly in a lot more quickly, then having a size 3 does feel worth it. But we're going to switch this to a size 2, and we're going to put a carp hook on there. I don't know that it makes any difference, but that's usually what I use, are the carp hooks. So let's go back to what I know has worked in the past. And we'll see if we can get one on either one of those lines. It's a pretty nice large perch, though. Okay, let's hope for the best here. All right, that's going to be a nice fish, it looks like. Let's go ahead and get our leech in real quick. And this is indeed a leech. And put that right back out. And I don't know that we necessarily have to have the boat for this one. It didn't feel like a really big one, but it'll probably save us some time either way. You see our fish guts are already going off again. But we want to get out here in the boat. And again, we want to stay to the west, the northwest of the fish, so that as it runs from us, it will run in a direction that allows us to still be able to chase it and kind of keep it in play. And I don't have a sense if this fish is very big at all now. We'll find out in just a second. You can tell once you get up to it, or if you of course stop the boat, but once you get up to it, you'll be able to tell if it's difficult for you to lift, then it'll take a little bit of time. But some of these fish will be able to just lift right out of the water. This just might be a little guy. And there he is. You can see him running around. You should be able to see him in the water there. He's under the boat right now. And we've almost got him out. So that is a nice sterlet, 5 kilos, 78 grams. I mean, that's what you want. If you can fill your net, which, by the way, if you didn't notice, very exciting to show you that we have our new net here. So we can, and honestly, this fishing spot is one of the reasons why I decided to save up for that net first before buying any upgraded gear or anything. Because this is so far away from camp, it's nice to be able to just stay out here longer. There's a large leech. I haven't tracked to see if like time of day or if it's just random on getting the leeches versus the molluscs. And of course, as I showed you at the Ukraine map, that's where you can easily catch the crawfish tails, but there's also a place here, I believe just off of camp in this water here, if you use fish guts, you'll catch crawfish tails there. So this map, you can get all 3 of the baits, leech, crawfish tails, and molluscs. And if you haven't seen it before, once you have something you're turning into bait, we're just going to click on Leech up here and turn those into leeches. We now have 22 leeches that we can use as bait. Let's reset this guy. I'm going to cast it. I'm going to take a chance and cast it a little bit more left and just hope that it doesn't get away from us. Oh, that still went pretty far right. Let's see if it drops to 7. I mean to 5, sorry. Alright, here's one. Alright, this is going to be most likely a bream. Looks like a nice one. Hopefully we'll get to the large bream category. It might be just under that though, now that I'm looking at it. Yeah, it's regular. That was a little more where I was wanting to throw it. Alright, that should be in the 5-meter hole. And there we go. But yeah, that large sterlet, that's basically why you're here in terms of to make the most money and gain some good XP. But as I was saying before, if you've got smaller gear, or if you want to catch the crucian and some of the smaller species of fish, this swamp area right here is a good place to be casting as well. So easy money with silver bream and easy experience. We can line up those and knock that out pretty easily. I think the silver bream still bite at nighttime. We'll find out here in a moment. I'm going to try to catch one more. Maybe we'll get a mollusk off of this. Off of these fish guts here that are in the water. This especially should just be really quick bite rate. Let's move it over a little bit. One thing I haven't done because I haven't used this spinning rod here. This one goes up to what, 8 kilos, 7 kilo on the line. But it would be cool. I mean, I haven't gone for Xander. There's several fish here you can catch, obviously spin fishing in Russia. I haven't done any of that though. Used to when I was first starting out, even when I had first gotten to some of these maps, I would spend a lot of time going for the missions from the grass pike. Those are just so easy to fill, but I've kind of gotten away from that as I just haven't felt the need to do the quick missions as often. Really, it's the daily mission that, you know, you kind of want to make sure you hit that, get so much silver and experience at the same time, and then just kind of do other missions as you can. Be careful about doing missions for fish that are worth a lot of money, though. I mean, it's very rare that I'd say it's worth doing a mission for carp or sterlet, especially if it's a supply mission. It's unlikely that it's worth it. It's better just to get the silver from the taking the fish normally. A lot of those missions feel like traps when they're valuable fish. Looks like we got another bream here. I'd like to see a large one though, somewhere at least over 3 kilos. It's not quite large, but it's closer. don't think I have any frogs currently. Frogs are one of the better baits for burbot, but there's a lot of them you can do. There's a lot of them you can use, so. Burbot and catfish. Mostly, I think anything you use to try to get burbot, you can also get catfish on. Let me think about that, if that's true. I mean, catfish seems like they will just bite just about anything. I've got an Excel spreadsheet that's been shared in the community. According to this, burbot will sometimes go for pearl barley, and I don't think catfish will go for pearl barley, so I mean, I guess we could try that, but I think most anything that you realistically are going to catch the burbot on, you're also going to... There's a mollusk, so at least we caught one. So now we can turn that into bait. So let's go back to cheese here. And because of the price of the leaders, we really should be switching to much smaller leaders, like 2.8, 4.5, something like that. Not that it affects the bite rate, because it doesn't seem to, but because replacing the leader, which you do have to do occasionally, is a lot more expensive on the big ones. So you should probably be going for bigger fish when you're using those bigger leaders, just from a silver standpoint. I honestly don't remember to switch it very often. The game, one of the more recent updates of the game did make it so that the leashes or leaders don't wear out quite as fast as they were. So it's okay, I think, not to worry about it, but technically we should probably be doing that. So there's a really small sterlet, under a kilo. It's still a little early to be thinking about switching to burbot, so I guess we'll put this right back in for now. But that is very small. All right, let's go ahead and get our mollusk piece from the mollusk. And the 1 kilo bream, I'll turn into a fish guts. The 3 kilos worth selling to me. And then this sterlet's not even a kilo. It's not going to be worth much, so we'll turn that into fish pieces. We need 4 silver brim to finish both the income and the experience quest. Sometimes you get supply quests for them as well. Oh, yep, there we go. Might as well do some free muckworms, huh? And again, even though I'm trying to do this video be a little bit more relaxed video and talk about different fish species, and I'd like to at least throw in for burbot, I don't know how patient I can be. I don't want it to go on forever, so we're already at just under half an hour. So in just a couple moments here, I will switch to a couple of burbot baits, see if we can get lucky on an early burbot or catfish. If we do, that's great. If not, at least I will have shown you kind of how I'm approaching it. I think if you're going for a really, really big catfish, you know, going with a size 3 hook is great. But for burbot, I tend to like using size 2 hooks. And I think we will go with... I'm trying to decide which 2 burbot baits I want to use. Might do bait fish. Bait fish and crawfish tails, maybe. Both of those will catch catfish, and the bait fish occasionally will catch pike, although probably not in that real deep hole. Crawfish tails will occasionally catch tench, maybe brim. Sometimes brim seem to come in on everything too, but certainly tench will come in on them. All right, come on, be another big one, juicy one. I don't think it is. going to be a really small sterlet. Really small. Like another one of those right around a kilo, it looks like. Look at you can see that fish. That is awesome. Look at that silver brim. I love it. 1.5 kilos. All right, let's just set this down. We've got fish on every line right now. All right, let's put this guy back out here. I want to go ahead and load up crawfish tails. Let's also put this as a carp hook. And we're going to put this right back in that 5-meter hole. Burbot and catfish, you're not as worried about running off the map, because they don't really fight that much, you know. They just kind of feel like you're pulling up an anchor. Catfish can be really annoying, at least for me, because of how long you can sit in a boat. If you don't have upgraded gear from what I have, you sort of sit in the boat over that catfish, just slowly inching it higher and higher. Kind of, I guess you're waiting for it to get a little tired out, and you lift it finally. You get it high enough to pull it out of the water, but it's not as exciting. Sterlet are worth more, so it's, I don't know. I get a little bummed out when I've got catfish, big catfish on, but it is what it is. If I had a little bigger gear, like if you're going for the record with catfish, I think that makes it a little more fun. If you're like, okay, I'm gonna try to catch a personal record or whatever. But you know, it can be pretty slow going for what you're getting back for it. And the brim are really coming out today in this spot. Seeing lots of brim. All right. So we're going to keep the same size hook, keep the setup the same, except we're going to throw bait fish on this one. And hopefully either the bait fish or the crawfish tails will give us an early burbot here for you. I normally wouldn't really switch over this early. I mean, I guess 20 to 2200, something like that's what I normally do. But I think we could have waited, given our chance a little bit more time for... giving ourselves a little bit more time for another sterlet. But did I not accept that other silver bream quest, or did we already complete it? I guess we already finished it. One of them was just for 2. That was the experience one, so we've just got one for supply and income. And then there's also, see, like these grass pike quests. I used to do those like crazy. I mean, I bet if I could look back and see how much XP and silver I got off of those grass pike quests, it'd be crazy. I haven't done that as much lately, but they're still a really good source of quick income, quick XP. You know, a large silver brim is not necessarily worth enough to worry about it. I'm still going to count that towards the quest. Some fish, a lot of fish, if it was a large version, I would not do the quest with it, but I'm not so much worried. Large silver brim are just, they're not worth that much. It's worth it. It's worth more to me to be able to finish that and be able to switch the third rod back to catching molluscs or something like that. Okay, let's see what the crawfish tail caught for us. Well, from how much the fish is moving around, I'd say this is not a burbot. I'm going to guess tench, but we'll see. Trying to bring it up to the surface. Yeah, that's a tench. It's a nice large tench. Let's put a leech in there. I feel like we're just begging for a catfish at this point, but we'll see what we can do with a leech. So now we've got bait fish and leech in the 5-meter hole. Wow, that was quick on the leech. It's a surprisingly small fish. Bait fish are going off too, and it's a little more hefty. It's a brim. Of course it is. All right, what's on our bait fish? The way it's moving around, I'm wondering if we did catch a pike. Well, there's a view of it. Do you have any guesses? It does not look like a pike. I'm going to say asp. It certainly is not a burbot or a catfish. It's not very heavy. It's just a little bit of a fighter. Swimming this way and that. It's pretty cool, isn't it? The way it's fighting, jumping out of the water. A large chub. I like it. I like it. That was a personal record chub for me. It's not something I've spent a lot of time targeting. This will finish the income, but we'll still need one more for supply on the silver brim. And let's try the leeches one more time. Again, leeches are getting very quick bites. I'm assuming it's going to be another brim. No, that's a crucian. Golden crucian. It's a large one though. That's fine. I guess that's, you could argue that's a nice thing about using leeches here, is that while you're waiting on a burbot or a catfish to get on, you're able to catch some other random stuff. It's kind of cool. All right, we'll give it another minute or two. I'm certainly getting long in the tooth here on this video. I appreciate you all being patient with a little longer video this time, but again, there's just so much going on in this spot. I've had so much fun in this spot fishing in Russia that I wanted to just sort of feature it a little bit. This is the kind of spot that there's something going on here 24 hours during, throughout the day. And so if you get tired of going for one thing, if you get tired of chasing sterlet and catfish down, you switch your baits up and just catch things that you know you'll be able to reel in from the shore. You can also just have variety across all of your feeders and just see what's biting. It's pretty fun. That should be our last silver brim that we need. So this isn't running around as much as that chub did, so although I'll also tell you it doesn't feel like a burbot or catfish necessarily either. I'm going to be curious to see what this is. See how it is moving around some? Usually a burbot or a catfish, you don't see the dancing. Let's say it's going to be some type of predator fish. I see the silver brim. He's getting his workout. There it is. Well, let's see. That actually does look like it might be a... It's a burbot or a catfish, one. You see any whiskers? Looks like a catfish from here, doesn't it? Yeah, that's a cat. Well, at least it's one we were able to just pull into the shore here. So I guess that dancing was just it tossing its head back and forth, not actually aggressively swimming around. Catfish like the bait fish. Alright, just under 10 kilos. We will take it. And that'll finish off the silver brim quest. And let's see what's on our leech. It's towards the surface, isn't it? We're not having to pull it up. It was swimming around the top of the water. Looks like a maybe another golden crucian. Or that's a real crucian. Those are more the regular crucians. If the large one is going to be more valuable than the golden ones anyway. So that's good. Yeah, leeches have been nice. The only downside of leeches, of course, is that you do have to you can't just buy more leeches. You have to replenish them. Okay, so let's wrap this video up by going back to camp, and let's just see how we did. The video is a little longer, but we really didn't do that much fishing, and we got just under 100 silver. If you look at the large sterlet, there's 36 silver. And let's see. Let's look at my personal sterlets, because the sterlets go way up in price when you get them a little bit bigger. So, wait, that's not mine. That's... All right. 13 kilo sterlet. So when you get up to the 10 plus, I guess it might be you're way more silver than you are at the smaller end of the large sterlet. But still, 36 silver for one fish that really did not take very long at all to get in. The 10 kilo and up, 12, 13 kilo sterlets, those are the ones that you kind of have to be patient with. But that catfish, 15 silver, it's not bad. Brim, it continues to be decent. Even the real small sterlet came in at 7 silver. There's the large crucian at 5, tench at 5, the golden crucian 4.5. Large chub, a little disappointing on how much that's worth, just over 4. And of course the large perch, 1 silver, probably worth turning that into bait, to be honest. But another 100 silver, cannot complain. And as always, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to let me know. Who knows, I might do another video in this spot one day as I continue to vary how I'm approaching it. But I just wanted to focus on this place in Russia. Hope you've enjoyed and look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks so much.